Welcome to Hollywood Backstory. I'm A.Y. Allen, and today we're going to talk about Avatar 3, The Seed Bearer, and what to expect. So, according to James Cameron, in Avatar 3, we're going to see a lot of the Alpha Centauri system. Now, one of the things that I love about what James Cameron has done with the Avatar franchise is that he basically takes from true human history, right? So, you can go through history and look at any advanced civilization invading a lower advanced civilization. It's a matter of time before that lower advanced civilization catches up to the technology of the more advanced civilization, like the Romans and the Gauls. By the end of the Roman Empire, the Gauls basically had the same weaponry, used the same tactics on the battlefield as their Roman enemies because they've been fighting against them for hundreds of years. So, in the comic, the high ground, which the movie Avatar 2 left out a lot of stuff from the comic, so I wouldn't be shocked if Avatar 3 does the same, leave out a bunch of things. But I'm going to dig into some of the stuff that we see in the comics, and maybe it may play into the movie. So one of the things in the comics is that when the Sky People returned in Avatar 2, Jake Sully had a meeting with the Na'vi, and he said that we have to fight the Sky People, but we must fight them in space in order to have the high ground. Now, how are they going to fight them in space? Well, Jake Sully and Norm stumbled across 10 RDA ships at Hellgate, in which they started to train a bunch of Na'vi in zero gravity to fly these spaceships. Which makes sense because James Cameron said we're going to see a lot more of the Alpha Centauri system in Avatar 3. And Jake Sully in the comic says we need to fight the Sky People in space to have the high ground, which makes sense. Again, it's the higher technological civilization over the lower technological civilization. That lower technological civilization is now catching up, learning to fly, learning to fight in space, just like the Sky People, in order to have the upper hand. So again, another thing that did not play out in the movie Avatar 2 that plays out in the comic, the high ground, is who is Spider's mother. Well, in the comic, his mother is Paz Socorro, and she was a scorpion pilot that was killed by an arrow at the assault of Home Tree. And in the comic, Spider actually keeps a picture of his mother next to his bed. So, this is why I think Spider is going to be a major impact in Avatar 3, and he's probably going to play sort of an Anakin Skywalker. He is going to go from being loyal to the Na'vi to being loyal to the Sky People. And this is dangerous because we know, again, from the comic that Spider spends most of his time with the Na'vi, but Neytiri sees him as an outsider and refuses to welcome him to the family. And Spider even looks at Neytiri as not being his mother. So, this is going to come back full circle, I think, when Colonel Courage tells him, Spider, that his mother was killed by the same people who refused to embrace you. This is going to unleash a whole bag of resentment and mixed emotions in Spider, who has a lot of tactical knowledge and information that the RDA could use to further destroy the Na'vi. So in regards to Spider's mother, it may be confusing for some who read the comic and watch the movie. They may think that Trudy Chacon, which was also a Scorpion pilot, the only female Scorpion pilot that we follow in Avatar 1, and, you know, Hollywood can write things how they want to write it, but if they're staying true to the comic, it can't be Trudy because she was killed by a missile and she was on the side of the Na'vi and she died at the end. She didn't die during the assault of Home Tree. She actually left, right? So, but again, Hollywood could write things how they want. So we'll just have to wait and see. So now here's another interesting theory, and bear with me as I try to reach here. But reading the comic The High Ground, as I said previously, Spider's mother was a Scorpion pilot, and she was killed at the assault of Home Tree by an arrow. Now we know Natiri uses arrows as her weapon of choice. Also, in the comic, Spider's mother keeps a picture of Spider in her Scorpion. Is it possible that Natiri killed his mother, then retrieved that picture after the battle, looking at this downed aircraft, this downed Scorpion, seeing this picture, and then later, when the Sky People were sent away and some of the humans were left behind, and this baby, Natiri feels guilty that she killed Spider's mother. Now, that's just a theory, but maybe this is also a part of the reason why she has such a distaste, or has this, this animosity towards Spider. Maybe it's that guilt that she has inside, that she doesn't want to connect with him, because Jake Sully is also a Sky People, and she embraces him as Na'vi. And in the comic, we see that there's a rift between Natiri and Spider. Also in the comic, Spider is raised by a family called the McCusker family, and they have a running joke that whenever Spider returned that night, because in the daytime he would always go off and be with the Sully family, the Na'vi, and then at night he would come home to the McCusker family. And they would always say that the boy Spider would come back to them whenever the Sullys got tired of his company. I think this is going to be like an underlining theme in Avatar 3, when I believe Spider turns on the Na'vi. So basically, he's coming back to the RDA when the Na'vi get tired of him in a roundabout way. Now, that's a stretch, but I feel like this is going to play out. And I think this is going to be a horrific moment for the Na'vi, because Spider would be like basically a double agent. He knows everything about the Na'vi. He knows where they go. He knows where they hide. He knows their tactics. He knows how they think. He grew up around them. So now all this information would be at the disposal of the RDA. And I do not think that Avatar 3 is going to end on a high note for the Na'vi. And I think it's going to be one of those movies where you're definitely going to be waiting for part 4 to get a little bit of relief for the Na'vi. So that's just my theories on Avatar 3 and what I think we're going to see, just based on some of the information from the comics. And as always, thank you for listening to the video. Hit that like and subscribe button, and stay tuned for the next video.